buy these powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards before they skyrocket in price. Last week, we made a video talking about how there were some cards that players were buying out. But the crazy thing about it is that a lot of those cards we've mentioned in a previous video like this. A video that is all about future investing, picking up cards while they're at their lowest because eventually they're going to be really good. And today, big dog, it is no different. We're going to be talking about some powerful cards from Duelist Advance that players are not looking at enough, as well as some other cards that I think will really be good. And in case you guys don't know who I am, hi, I'm TheCaliEffect, and for almost 10 years, I made a living off of selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I want to pass this information down to you because while I don't sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards anymore, I thought that this would be really helpful information for the community. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with y'all big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. So buy these cards before they skyrocket in price is a video series that I genuinely like. It allows me to be able to talk about some cards that I think are going to be really good. And while I may not get every single card right, I think I've gotten enough cards right to be a credible source when it comes to picking up cards at the earliest time. With Duelist Advance having an OTS release tomorrow and having an official release on America Day, I just thought that there would be some really powerful cards you should be interested in. But one thing I want you to keep in mind, like I said before, while I do get a ton of things right, buy these Yu-Gi-Oh cards responsibly and buy them at your own risk. And at any given time, if you are buying on TCG Player, make sure to use my code in the description. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, there's quite a bit of options. I'm actually looking for some cards for my personal collection to buy. I have a Google Docs link down below the cards that I'm looking for. And if you want to get cool content like this a little bit early, I do post it on my Patreon as a special thank you for helping me pay my editors. But let's get all that out of the way and start talking about some really cool cards. Duelist Advance is it's an alright set. I posted an entire set review telling you guys the things that Konami doesn't want you to know about the set, and it's a middling set for competitive play, but it is a crazy good set for casual play. Also, to piggyback on that competitive play thing I just said, this set does have the potential to be a great competitive set. It just genuinely depends on the ban list and other support we'll get in the future. So when I tell you guys to pick up a monster like Medius the Pure, I'm talking about strictly from a futures perspective. Medius the Pure kickstarts an entirely new Yu-Gi-Oh lore. Unfortunately for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh players, the Archmage strategy isn't really that strong, but Medius the Pure isn't just for Archmage. When it is summoned, it allows you to be able to summon a Power Patron monster from your deck, which is a pretty insane effect to me. Currently, we only have one Power Patron monster in Archmage Power Patron, but it seems like Medius is going to be the middle ground for the new lore archetype. Kind of like how Visa Starfrost was the centerpiece for the Visa lore, and Fallen Albaz was a centerpiece for the Albaz lore. And the thing about Medius is that while we don't know how strong the Power Patron monsters are actually going to be, this card is a secret rare, meaning that if they're really good, this card could be really expensive. In my opinion, this is one of those high risk, high reward type Yu-Gi-Oh cards where if the Power Patron cards are really good, everyone's gonna want it, making this card skyrocket in price. But if they don't, you just might have a useless secret rare. These overall tend to be pretty good Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so if you can get it for a great price, I would definitely be picking them up. But the cool thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is not everything is about Duelist Advance. There are also some other cards that I've been like, hold on, you kinda cooking. And one of those cards that I have noticed that has been pretty cool is Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. I think that Phantasme is in a really weird spot, mainly because Ryzeo is still the de facto best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. But if Ryzeo just so happened to disappear, almost every other Yu-Gi-Oh strategy plays Link monsters. Fantastical Dragon Phantasme is not only incredibly powerful against decks like Malice, it's also pretty strong against Fiendsmith and Fiendsmith adjacent decks, since they often link, and Orcus if that deck becomes really strong. But to be honest with you, it's good against almost every single Yu-Gi-Oh deck, not Ryzeo. On top of that, it's a card that gives you target protection, as well as a means to be able to see more cards in your hand. I think that Phantasme may soon enough be an excellent side deck Yu-Gi-Oh card. Players are always looking for the next big hand trapper engine, but there's an engine that's pretty good if Yugioh stays the top big tack. And I think it's actually the do go go blow blow yo whatever you want to call it. If I'm being specific, the card that I think that is really good is Dododo Warrior. This card allows you to send a Dododo monster from your deck to the graveyard to special summon it. The only drawback is that you're forced to only Exceed summon for the rest of the turn, and this card's level becomes 4. Really? This card also allows you to be able to add a Zubaba monster from your deck to your hand when it's detached as material. The reason why I think that this card is powerful is because there was a card that was released earlier called Dododo Dwarf Go Glove. I feel stupid saying these cards' names, but this card allows you to be able to summon itself from the graveyard to your side of the field if you control a Dododo monster. Essentially, this makes Dododo Warrior a 1-card rank 4 Exceed without having to commit your normal summon. And the best thing about it is that monsters like Yugioh Dual Drive are generic. The Utopic line can essentially get you into your Yugioh starters without you having to invest much into it. This could considerably increase the ceiling of Yugioh decks, but also allows you to be able to play other cards. Gaga Girl is also another Exceed from this set that allows you to be able to search Omnimat, Gaga, or Exceed cards from your deck to your hand. It's actually one of the better Exceed monsters to help you set up more Exceed cards to eventually make number F0 Utopic Future Zexal, or number F0 Utopic Draco Future, whichever one you guys think is better. The best thing about it is that most of these cards come inside of Duelist Advance. Players may not be looking at it, but a card that we know that is pretty cheap and accessible is Utopic Draco Future. It actually has a collector's rare version and a quarter-century secret rare. Now, when Rarity Collection 5 comes out, I'm almost confident that this will be a card inside of it. Because Rarity Collection 5 is a damn near slam dunk, right? It's coming out, right? But even if it isn't, the Utopic Draco Future cards are incredibly cheap themselves. In my opinion, this is one of those races against time. This is a risk like Medius, but for a totally different reason. Will this card be strong? More than likely. But the whole thing is picking up this card and potentially getting rid of it before that Phantom set that I keep talking about gets announced. That's the big trick about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is knowing when to hold them and when to sell them. I might make a video that has a better guide on teaching players when to do that, but if I'm being honest with you, it is fairly complicated. You're gonna take some W's and you're gonna take some L's. A lot of times you can look at some of these generic and staple Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and almost know that this is going to be a really expensive card. And that brings me to the next card on this list, because Triple Tactics Thrust is one of those generic staple Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that you need to be watching out for. Triple Tactics Thrust is in an interesting predicament. A lot of players consider it a more balanced Triple Tactics talent, because if your opponent has no monsters, you have to set the cards and you can't use them. But I think what we were waiting for is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Strategy that Triple Tactics Thrust could be really good against. And as a person that has played Vanquish Soul since the deck came out, you finally found a strategy where Triple Tactics Thrust is actually crazy against. Triple Tactics Thrust not only allows you to be able to get counter cards that are really good against Vanquish Soul, which ironically Triple Tactics Talent is good against them. Hell, Raigeki is good against them. It's also a card that can potentially get you into your engine cards that you need to be able to play the game. Granted, Triple Tactics Thrust has 11 printings out right now, but the problem with them is that every single one of Triple Tactics Thrust printings are hollow and decently hard to get. And while it is incredibly hard to predict when we'll get another Triple Tactics Thrust reprint, my guess would probably be inside of a structure deck as a common. Even if that does happen, players would still want the hollow version. From my perspective, this is one of the safest cards you can pick up, and with so many different rarities available, Ulti, Ultra, QCR, it almost feels like you can't go wrong with this cheap Yu-Gi-Oh! Staple. While Thrust alongside of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme may easily be the safest choice you could be picking up. Cards that will eventually go up in price no matter what, because they're going to be strong at some point in time. You gotta go to the opposite side and appeal to Cali's Copium. Now, I like to call this particular section of the video the Cali Copium section, because there's always some cards or some strategy that I am going to root for. A card that you just see and you're like, holy crap, this is busted. And while it may not always be a card that makes out how you want it to be, it's still a card that I think is worth looking at. The card that I have here is a two-parter, and it's almost like I fell for the same trap twice. The monster first of the Dragon Lords is, it's kind of funny. I know this card may look new to some of you guys, but technically this is an old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. There was a monster named First of the Dragons that, while I didn't tell you guys to buy before it skyrocketed in price, I hoarded this card because I thought it was going to be amazing. And you guys should already know the old J. Cole saying, fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you.
Fool me 3 times, the peace sign, load the chopper, let it rain on you.
But I think I'm going to be fooled twice. First of the Dragon Lords has the same effect as First of the Dragons, except this time around it can't be destroyed by battle, and then while it's face up on the field, when a spell or trap card is activated, it destroys all spells and trap cards on the field. Hey, I like that. My argument here is that there's actually more normal monster support. Back when First of the Dragons was printed, normal monsters were terrible. But now in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, because of the Primite cards, this card is actually a lot stronger, which is why I'm doubling down. I think that Primite is one of the most underrated Yu-Gi-Oh decks that should be explored. It's hands down one of those decks that people don't pay attention to because you have to play normal monsters. And while I would like to say the Primite cards are another one of those cards you should be looking at buying before they skyrocket in price, I really want to talk about Secretarian Dragon. Secretarian Dragon is an ultra rare Yu-Gi-Oh card that loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. Also, your opponent's special summon dragon and spellcaster monsters cannot activate their effects while you control his fusion summon card. It also allows you to be able to target a dragon and a spellcaster monster in your graveyard, special summon one, put the other to the bottom of the deck, which I'm not even gonna lie to you, this isn't really a great effect. The only dragon in spellcaster deck that I can think of is Buster Blader, and I think that's Dragon Warrior actually. So there's not really a lot of times where Secretarian Dragon would really come up, but the reason why I think that this card is going to be busted is because of its requirements. It says a dragon monster plus a spellcaster monster. That may not ring any bells in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, but this card is a super polymerization target. And in case you didn't know, every single time, 10 times out of 10, super polymerization target cards all go up in price. You don't believe me? Draco Quest has been a trash card for like 15 years, and then super polymerization in Yu-Gi-Oh made it good at one point in time. Guilty Gearfried, the magical steel knight, that card actually did go up in price. Hell, right now at this very second, there is an Ignister fusion monster that went up in price as a rare Yu-Gi-Oh card. And it's simply because eventually Konami does print an archetype that revolves around dragon and spellcasters, and this card is the perfect counter to them. But that's all that I have for the cards that I think you should be buying before they skyrocket in price. Let me know how far on the cope meter I am with these cards. Also, if you think that there's some cards that players should be buying before they skyrocket in price, be sure to let us know down below in the comment section as well. And if you got some of the cards that I need in the description, please join the Discord, tag me, let me know, let's get it talking so I can get those cards off of you. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the next video.